जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमामि विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी विचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे। Okay, welcome. Hopefully we'll finish chapter 15, which is called the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Let's pay our obeisances to Shri Radha Govinda before we start. How many of you are intending to go to Mangalore? Nobody. Very nice class. Okay, so we are reading, we read the first 5 verses are about Krishna's comparing the material world to the upside down banyan tree. And then he describes the intricacies of the banyan tree and also describes the weapon by which we can get out of the intricacies. What is that weapon called as? What is that weapon called as? Asanga Shastrena Dhirena Chitva.
Acts of detachment, mataji.
Very nice. It's a weapon of detachment. One must cut the tree and get out. And then we also studied about Purushottam Yoga, where the transmigration of the soul, how the soul is transmigrating, and also how Krishna is assisting, how Krishna is assisting in our present life in all our domains, which will be actually more elaborately explained from verse 12 to 15, as Krishna is the maintainer of the gross body, the subtle body, and the spiritual body. Any questions so far? Okay, so I am taking it as a no, and then we start from this section. Krishna's position as a maintainer. So I should have written the verse, but Krishna, these verses 12 to 15, Krishna talks about how he maintains the gross body, the subtle body, and also the spiritual body. So the splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of the whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. Prabhupada talks about in the purport of this verse that this is the great deal of beginning for someone in Krishna consciousness. If someone begins the Krishna consciousness by understanding that the splendor of the sun, the moon, and fire is from Krishna, then there lies a very big opportunity for them to advance in Krishna consciousness in future. So he also elaborates the sun is only one. There's many suns in each universe, but each universe has its one sun. And moon is what? Moon is a planet or a star? What does he say?
Planet.
Planet, Mataji.
He says moon is a star. It borrows light from the sun. It says moon is a star. Nakshatra Nam Yasho Shashi. What is the verse? Open 12 verse. Nakshatra Nam Aham Shashi. The moon is one of the stars. Okay, the last paragraph of 12th verse. So the meaning, Krishna, if one understands, if people say, show me God, where is God, then this is a very good beginning point, that actually you see God through the energy of God. Right? For example, there are so many famous people in the world. For example, people who are like some, let's say for the sake of discussion, designers, okay, like the fashion designers. Okay. Now, how do you like know about them? By their work, right? You say this brand, this Calvin Klein. Okay, have you ever met Calvin Klein? Have you met him? But I don't know if it's a he or she, but they exist, right? Because of the work. So like that, we are actually borrowing all this from Krishna. So like that, if we look at the sun and we think that God created the sun and the power of the sun is coming from Krishna, the potency of the moon is coming from Krishna, the fire, which is so important, when we wake up, we lit the fire, we start the yagyas. Fire is needed for digestion, for cooking, right? So it's coming from Krishna. The power is coming from Krishna. So understanding God through his energy first. And we do that in our day-to-day life as well. But we do it very conveniently in our day-to-day life. But when it comes to understanding God, there is a problem, which is kind of an unfair game, actually, right? There's, if you go and say, where is God? And you say, you see, God is known by his creation. So if there's the splendor of the sun is God, his creation is coming from him. What will be the most common response you're going to get if you go and say someone like this? Jaldi jaldi bolo, what will the most common response you're going to get? Let's say you are preaching to someone and you say, I want to see God, and they don't believe in daily worship. And you open this verse and talks about, like, God wants us to see through his splendor in the sun, and of the moon, of the fire. So what will the most common response you're going to anticipate from them?
If they are atheists, Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, they may
Ah.
say, it's all science and some reactions are going on there, and that's why there is fire and all this. This is what they'll say.
Very nice, very nice. Then what will you say?
I say, where did the chemicals come from?
Very nice. And who
Where
is
is the
doing the
what's the
reaction?
source? Yes.
She's pakka. Yes. See? So you see, the thing is, it's not so much about convincing the other person. It's a lot to do with the am I convinced or not? Okay, our ability to preach others is directly proportional to our own conviction in the process. That's why Uttam Adhikari can convince anybody. Madhyam Adhikari is fully convinced in their own life. They may fall short of giving references from the Shastras or convincing fully others, but Kanishta is not convinced. Okay, so I'm not making up, this is there in the Shastras. And then he continues to, maintain our gross body by giving us all these things. Gam avishya cha bhutani dharyami ahamojasa pushrami chashadhi sarva samabhutva rasatmakaha. I enter into each and every planet and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So for our gross body, we need place to stay, right? So, and Krishna makes, when a person of this world makes a very big dwelling, they become very famous. Everyone wants to know the construction of their house, or what's the net worth of the house, or what are the amenities inside the house. Yes or no? And we also want to know about the owner. There's this curiosity which is incited by looking at these opulences. No or yes?
Yes, Mataji, very much.
Yeah, but when Krishna constructs, he constructs a big planet. And then he actually puts it in the air and then he makes it rotate there. We're not curious. We're not curious. Imagine the irony of our life, like how narrow-minded we become in the course of our life. But we are curious about somebody who has accumulated Krishna's money and has made a huge house to stay, and they have. I was invited to someone's house once, a devotee, okay? I'm not finding fault, but I was just sharing with them also. Bhataji, please come to our house. We have a cinema theater, we have a pool, we have, I don't know, I can go back to the email. We have this garden, we have golf in the backyard, we have, interesting, but what am I going to do with all that? Anyway, of course, it's a privilege if someone invites you, right? It's a privilege. Who invites who nowadays? But the thing is that we get consumed by our possessions. Like real renunciation is not in owning the things, but not getting owned by the things. So Krishna, we don't get curious enough to actually understand that who created the whole planet. Now, a few days ago, there was this discussion that the planets are aligned in a very unique manner in over 100 years or something. But the thing is, we don't get curious enough to say who aligned it, who made it, who is making it rotate. So curiosity is needed, whereas it's also needed to be directed in the right direction. So who's going to help us with that? The Krishna himself answers this question in the following verses. And then we look at the moon, and then we look at the moon according to the condition of our mind. The poets look at the moon for writing the poems, right? That somebody's color is like moon, or somebody's effulgence is like moon, whatever. They borrow all these similes from the nature. But we don't look at the moon the way Krishna wants us to look at the moon. And he is making it very clear that moon is the one which is supplying the juice of life to all the vegetables. So we can actually use this knowledge and see that wherever the moonshine is the most, that place the vegetables will be most nutritious. Right? But Krishna is actually putting all these planets in their place in the air, and he enters into it. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that when the soul is in the body is light. Even though a planet is very big, or somebody has a very big body, but they are able to move around because the soul is there. But when the soul leaves the body becomes heavy. When Krishna will leave the planet, it will all shrink. So it is in this verse, Krishna's energy is glorified. That how Krishna, and these two verses, 12 and 13, are indicating that how Krishna is maintaining our gross body. Okay. Aham Vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashritah prana apana samyukta pachami annam chaturvidham. I'm the fire of digestion in every living body, and I'm the air of life, ongoing, outgoing, and incoming, by which I digest the 4 kinds of food stuff. So this is also gross body. So he is giving us the knowledge that he's the splendor of the sun, the moon, and the fire. And he's telling us that the orbits are staying in their place because he enters the orbits. And then he's saying that moon is nourishing the vegetables and providing all the nutrients. And he says, okay, I'm giving you food, but I'm actually also helping you to digest that food. Fire is representing Krishna's energy. And Krishna is helping in the digesting process. So we are not independent in eating process. We need help. And this is so interesting, huh? If when I read this verse many years ago, I said, okay, in India, if you've ever seen, in some villages, they use dried sticks to ignite the fire, to cook on a clay stove, right? And how do they ignite the fire? Do you know? Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, they blow into it, Mataji. They have a long thing and they blow.
Yeah, so to ignite the fire, air is needed. So like that, when we are breathing incoming and outgoing air, we are actually regulating the fire in the body, which is Ayurvedic science. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that in Ayurveda, when someone is having indigestion, means the fire in the stomach is put off. So the process is to reignite that fire, which is so contrary to allopathic medicine. Because in allopathy, if somebody has indigestion, or if somebody is not able to, is having hunger problems, what do we give them? Or what do you take on your own without asking? What do you do?
We take medicines to increase our hunger.
No, in allopathic, I think what I've seen people do is they take antacids. I'm having stomach pain, I'm not able to eat, okay, take an antacid. So it's like I was thinking that this is so contrary, because the mechanism by which antacids act is actually they reduce the acid production. And what I'm thinking is acid is needed to ignite the fire. So Ayurveda is going to actually increase the fire. Allopathy is going to decrease the fire. So what are we going to do? So when we become Krishna conscious, then actually the midline is, what I'm thinking is, we have to regulate our breathing, right? Because the breathing rather than going here and there. So Krishna is so nice that he is inside and he's outside. And he's also everywhere, and he's also in the heart, which he'll say now. Get it? So next time we say, where is God? Can you show me God? Look at your digesting power. That's God. Look at the way, the pattern we are breathing. That's coming from God. The moon and sun on the skies are put by God. We are sitting in this planet, which is actually going around in the air. We don't realize what's happening because Krishna is in this. Krishna has entered here. But we don't become curious enough. We become curious about small things, not big things. So we are very manda sumanda mateo. Like what is it? Bhagavatam says this, right? 1:10. Manda sumanda mateo manda bhagya upaditaha. Very short vision, unintelligent, disturbed. That is why we are disturbed, because our intelligence is supposed to expand to understand Krishna. Sarvasya chaham. Who knows this verse? Huh? Who will recite it?
Shall I recite, Mataji?
Yeah, Rupa Mataji, go ahead, and then Kirti Mataji. Go ahead. We have to turn your camera on for that.
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्ता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Kirti Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivisto matta smritirjnanamapohanam cha vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta kridvedavid eva chaham. It's one
Very
of
nice.
my favorite verses, Mataji.
Oh, very nice. So I am seated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya cha aham hriddhi sannivishto. Sarvasya means everyone. Cha aham hriddhi sannivishto. I am situated in everyone's heart. Mattaha. Mattaha smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From me comes the remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Vedescha sarver aham eva vedyo. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Vedanta krit Vedavid eva cha aham. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the knower of the Vedas. All right, so let's go one by one. I'm situated in everyone's heart. Prabhupada writes that heart. Oh, I heard this such a nice lecture. I think I heard it 3-4 times. This is about Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it's connected to the heart. Ramananda Rai met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vidyanagar, right? And then he was missing him, even though when Ramananda Rai was embraced by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what it meant was that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered Ramananda Rai's heart. So in that way, Ramananda Rai was always carrying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his heart. But he missed that interaction with the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very deeply. So he, with his heart, took him to Jagannath Puri, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was. And then when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, you have come to Jagannath Puri, have you gone and taken darshan of the big-eyed Lord Jagannath? And he said, my heart brought me to you first, I will go there next. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu scolded him that you should have gone there first. So the verse has, the heart of the living entity is the charioteer and the legs are chariot. So wherever the charioteer takes, the chariot goes. So basically wherever the heart takes, the legs go. So if we can't go somewhere because our heart hasn't gone to that place yet, okay, we can't come to Krishna because the heart hasn't gone there yet. But here Krishna says, I am situated in everyone's heart. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that what does it really mean? It is from the heart that we initiate all our activities. Okay, Prabhupada writes that when we leave our body in the last life, we forget, right? Krishna gives the forgetfulness. We forget what I have to do. What was I doing? But Krishna in the heart gives us the impetus to act, to work. And we call it as nature or development of our nature. Okay, and then what happens? Then he also gives him the required knowledge, gives us the required knowledge, gives us the remembrance, and also gives us the forgetfulness. We don't remember every detail of our past life, but we remember enough as to what was the purpose of the soul when we left the last birth. And Krishna gives knowledge, remembrance, also gives the avenues to act, but it is from the heart that we get the impetus to act. And this is a very nice verse in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, where it says that the heart has to reach first. Okay, and then Krishna it also means that Krishna situated in everyone's heart is like Krishna is all pervading. He's everywhere, right? He said it wherever he is, but he's also so personal. He's inside the heart. Generally, and that only God can do. No one else can do. Generally, in the material world, when somebody is somewhere else, they're not like personally available, right? For example, if a very big business person is running a business and they have business empire in major cities of the world, are they everywhere personally as well? Are they accessible to all the employees all the time personally too? So, no, right? I can only see two heads moving because the cameras are on. So very grateful. Others are. They're not, right? But Krishna is inside Krishna, is outside Krishna, is in the heart, and Krishna is personally available. And he's personally directing. This question will come in the forthcoming verse, that what is the use of getting this knowledge? Okay, but understand that he's saying that he's here. When he's saying, when we leave it, let's believe him. So Krishna is all pervading. Krishna is also localized in the heart. Okay, so that's what is that called as? Jiva Goswami says, what is that called as? What kind of a knowledge? Simultaneously one and simultaneously different. What is it called as in Sanskrit? Rupa Mataji, Kirti Artaji?
Achintya Bheda Abheta Tattva.
Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Simultaneously one and simultaneously different. So he's outside, but he's also inside. Okay, and then he's saying Matta Smriti Jnana Pohanam Cha. So he gives the remembrance, as I said, that okay, I have to do this kind of a work, knowledge, and then also the forgetfulness. Then Vedesha Sarver Ahameva Vedya. So Vedas are doing three things. Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. Vedas are giving us the right sense of direction. Okay, where to go in this life. They are offering us the knowledge. And they are directly recited by Krishna in his form as Vyasadeva. Prabhupada asked this question in the purport. Why does he present Vedic knowledge for understanding? And then he answers the question in the next line. Okay, so Vedas are doing three things. They're giving us the direction, sense of right direction in the human form of life. They're giving us the knowledge. They're also personally composed by Krishna in his form as Vyasadeva. But Prabhupada is asking this question in the purport. Don't read the purport in front of me. This is really bad. This class is bad. You answer the question. Why does he present Vedic knowledge for understanding? He says, I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the knower of the Vedas. So one answer I most commonly get when we ask this question is because he wants us to understand him through the Vedas. All right, but there is a punchline added. What is that? Because Prabhupada says, because the living entity has to individually understand Krishna. Individually, you need to understand Krishna. Individually. Okay, not everyone is going to look at Krishna in the same manner. It's not going to happen because there is variety in spiritual world. So we need knowledge of Krishna everywhere because everyone is going to look at Krishna or find Krishna in their own way. Even I was talking about this with Prem Prakash Das Prabhu. He was asking me that, Mataji, tell me about Srimad Bhagavatam commentary by Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Where can I buy it? Where can I find it? I told him, but I also said that what makes you buy it? Like, are you going to read Prabhupada's commentary and then you're going to read Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary and then you're going to read Jiva Goswami commentary? Like, what is it? Oh, I have his permission to speak. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That Bhakti Vaibhav class, some of the teachers quote this. And he just wants to refer them. I said, everyone have a different kind of a psyche. We come to Krishna consciousness with our nature. So it is important to understand that what is my nature of service in here. It is not a pure devotional service, because pure devotional services, we act according to Krishna's direction, not according to my own personal prerogative. But it is important. So now somebody is very attracted to Krishna's words, like Krishna Acharya's words or knowledge, and they can absorb, read and absorb. Somebody is going to understand Krishna by washing his temple, by cleaning his temple. Somebody is going to understand Krishna by doing, taking care of the cows or agriculture for Krishna. Like somebody is going to understand Krishna by deity worship. So we get enough of knowledge from Srila Prabhupada, and then we carry over according to our own psyche. Okay, so that is why Vedas are important, because they give us that kind of a choice. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Or you're not understanding? I will ask everybody now. I'll start from the bottom. Shiva Srinivas Prabhu, your name is at the bottom of my list. What am I saying? Rupa Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Tell me.
Yeah, he wants us to understand him at a personal level. That's what he said.
Yeah, but why do we need Vedas for that?
Because Vedas instruct us in Varnashrama Dharma also. We can be wherever we are and still, progress in the yoga ladder, one step at a time. So he's not forcing us to go back home, but he's giving us an opportunity.
Very nice. Okay, thank you. Nikhil Prabhu, what did you understand?
I understand, Mataji, that by understanding the Vedic literatures, we understand the relationship of our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the ultimate aim is definitely to reach, but the point that you mentioned, the question that why the Vedic literature was presented, because we individually need to understand Krishna. That was the main thing that I understood.
Prabhupada is writing it in the purport.
Yes.
So, yeah, but then why do we? Okay, thank you. Madan Mohan Krishna Leela Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, these sloks quoted that we are so forgetful that we are forgetting Krishna's presence or something. So in these slokas, he highlighted about the Vedas, actually for the forgetfulness souls, because to know what is the true relationship about him. So Krishna describes his in this slok to revive the original entity of every person which is seated in our heart.
Okay, thank you. I said that last time I told you all, right, that there are some standard answers in everywhere we go. Like, for example, in pharmacology, when we are taught that what are the side effects of a drug. So without even like blinking, there's a foundational answer for every drug: allergic reaction, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, right? So every drug has the potency to cause that everywhere. So it says everywhere we are. You're not getting the pulse of the talk, my friend told me Krishna consciousness, we can actually do anything anywhere. So I said, how? He said, because one time her spiritual master told her to do some sort of drama with the children for Gaur Purnima. Okay. I said, okay, so what did you do? She said, I did the Dhruva Maharaj pastime. I said, Dhruva Maharaj pastime for Gaur Purnima? She said, yeah, because we can take Krishna consciousness and justify anything in our life. Tell me more. Okay, so what came out was that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted Dhruva Maharaj pastime with his followers, and he actually became so absorbed in it. So because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became absorbed in Dhruva Maharaj pastime and enacted the pastime with his followers, so I did the Dhruva Maharaj pastime. Basically, what we were saying is that we can actually justify anything in Krishna consciousness, but then there is something called as a zest, or something called as the heart of the talk. Okay, something called as like Prabhupada wants us to become like that. And what is it that is this particular verse here Krishna is trying to say? here, not everywhere, here. So that is hard to find. It's hard to, I'm not saying I have it too, but that's question is clear to me. Okay, who else is remaining? Ambika Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, the Vedas gives us the knowledge of Krishna and how to understand Krishna. The
Yeah.
process of understanding Krishna.
Okay. So why do we have to individually study the Vedas? Why do we have to individually do it? Like, why do we have to read on our? Why can't we
Only
just?
if we understand Krishna individually, we can serve him. We can know our constitutional relationship with Krishna and serve him in that particular way.
Okay, very nice. So you say serve him in that particular way. That what is my relationship? Okay, it's like because Vedas open up our avenue as to how I want to serve Krishna. Do I want to serve Krishna by knowledge? Do I want to serve Krishna by service, and what kind of service? Do I want to serve Krishna by preaching? Do I want to serve Krishna by cooking? What do I want to do? Okay, that avenue, that all everything is given. And Prabhupada writes that in Vedic literature, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated. So, of course, when we are reading the Vedic literature and we are reading the glories of the Supreme Lord, our heart becomes purified with that. And Prabhupada also talks about in this particular purpose that Vedic literature teaches us the Vedic rituals. And then there is also a discussion about the philosophy. So there are rituals, there's philosophy, and there is also a method of worship and devotional service to Krishna described. So what kind of knowledge? Knowledge is a broad term. What is it? We get the rituals, we also get the philosophy, and we also get the method of worship in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is the use of that? Ritual, philosophy, and the method of worship in devotional service. What happens? We attain Krishna. We get that. Okay, and then what is the purpose of the Vedas? What is the purpose? The purpose is to understand Krishna. So Vedas give us the knowledge, the process, and also the goal. Everything is given. So in this verse, purpose, understanding, and the goal of Vedas is described. You must be able to understand this whole very nicely. The next time when we say that somebody says that I'm also Vedakrit, there are two words, okay? One is called Vedakrit and another one is called Vedantakrit. Vedakrit means somebody who is claiming that I am a knower of the Vedas. I know Vedas. Vedantakrit means I know the end result of studying all the Vedas. So when somebody comes and they try to pose themselves as Vedakrit, Vedavit, I am knower of the Vedas, I know what's there in the Vedas. One simple answer that question can be asked in that particular moment is that, okay, after knowing all the Vedas and knowing what is in the Vedas, what is your conclusion? Vedantakrit. And if the conclusion is falling short of Krishna, then you don't know the Vedas. Okay, simple. Prabhupada says, ask Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, in the word-to-word translation, Vedavidya says the knower of the Vedas, but for the Vedanta Krit, it says the compiler of Vedanta.
Compiler of the Vedanta. So there is a verse in second chapter Bhagavad Gita where Krishna talks about Vedavit and Vedant and then Vedanta Krit. We can bring out the verse if I look up. Compiler of the Vedanta. Yes, you see, if you read Vidya Bhushan, I can bring the reference. I'm not home, I'm in Gita Nagari. But if you remind me next week, I can show you. I have Gita Bhushan with the Vidya Bhushan Prabhupada's commentary, where the word is explained like that. Veda Antakrit. And Vedantakrit, Prabhupada is translating as a compiler, and he's translating as the end. And it is also said here, right? The last word, I am the knower of the Vedas, which is like the end result of knowing the Vedas is to know Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But thank you for bringing it to our attention. That Vedavit and Vedantakrit. So I can bring it up next week. But understand, and this is in Prabhupada's lecture, if you hear his lecture, That if somebody comes and says, I'm the knower of the Vedas and I have read all the Vedas, then one simple request we can have to that person is, after reading all the Vedas and knowing all the Vedas, can you please tell us what is the conclusion? And if the conclusion is falling short of Krishna, then they're not the knower of the Vedas. They're falling short. Then it gives me an option, not to judge other person or find fault in another person, but it gives me an option that do I want to go their route or do I want to go ahead with Srila Prabhupada's movement? Because we have to make that decision every day. Am I going to be a part of ISKCON today or not? Even after initiation, every day. Okay, so Krishna is the maintainer of the material world. Sorry. What is the benefit? Krishna is the splendor of the sun, the moon, the fire, and the electricity. It all comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the benefit of knowing such? What is the benefit of such a conception of life as given in this verse? It is a great deal of beginning of Krishna consciousness. And in the beginning lies a great deal of advancement. Krishna is the maintainer of the material world continues. He holds the earth, gives the vegetables. Vegetables are nourished by moonshine, and moonshine comes from Krishna. And Krishna again helps us to digest the food, which gives us the energy, which actually in turn gives us the strength to understand who he is. So there are 4 kinds of food stuff. Some are licked, some are chewed, some are swallowed, and some are sucked. So there are 4 kinds of food stuff according to Krishna, and then Krishna is helping us to digest all of that, providing us the food, digesting, and also giving us the energy after digestion. So sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness comes from Krishna. Vedescha sarver ahameva vedyo. So it says Vedescha sarver ahameva vedyo. I have to be known by all the Vedas. Vedantakrit vedavit eva chaham. This is what Nikhil Prabhu was saying, that in the form of Vasudev, I am the compiler and I'm the knower of the Vedas. So understand what is the meaning of the word the sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. What does it mean when Krishna says I am situated in everyone's heart? So the Prabhupada explains heart is the place where the impetus to act begins, because we forget where we left last. So Krishna gives enough remembrance, not full remembrance, provides knowledge, provides avenues, and also gives us the Vedas. And then the Vedas are doing what all things. They're giving us the right direction. They're giving us the right knowledge. They're teaching us philosophy. They're teaching us rituals. They're also teaching us the process of worship and devotional service by which we can attain Krishna. Any questions so far? Because then I'm going to start the last section. Okay, so verse 16 to 20 is the last section, Purushottam Yoga. So 3 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, which is verse 16, 17, and 18, they summarize the Veda and the Vedanta kinds of living entities. We don't really have to know like that, but it's good to know. Who remembers Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita? What were those verses? Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita? You're muted if you're speaking.
10.8 onwards, Mataji.
8 और फिर उसके बाद?
Pardon?
8 then?
8, 9, 10, 11.
नहीं.
Aham sarvasya prabhu batta sarvasya pravandate iti bhatva bhajante maam buddham bhava samanvitaha.
Very nice.
That
Okay.
was the...
And this one is 16, 17, 18 is called Sri Shloki Bhagavad Gita. So there are 2, he says there are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every entity is fallible, and in spiritual world, every entity is called infallible. Now, I want you to tell me what defines fallible and infallible. What does it mean, fallible, and what does it mean, infallible? All right, I think we are less people, so I'm going to ask everybody. Manjula Mataji's speaker is not on. Rupa Mataji, your name is next. Just one second, okay? What makes one fallible? What makes one infallible? Rupa Mataji. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. We
What
are all
does it
conditioned.
mean? What is it?
And infallible, the Lord is infallible, and transcendental, somebody who's transcendental is infallible because they're liberated. Fallible is one who has to take another body, they're not spiritual.
Okay, thank you. Nikhil Prabhu, your name is next. Then Madan Mohan Krishna Lila Das Prabhu. What is
Infallible means they are, constantly struggling in this material world.
Infallible or fallible?
Fallible. Fallible.
Mm-hmm.
Falling. They're always falling. So they're always struggling. Their body is going through changing. All this material, we go through all this changes. We are always struggling. We're always hankering, that kind of stuff. But when we come to the infallible stage, then we know the purpose of our life. Then we are connected with the Krishna. Then we are, calm, and we are clear in our purpose, and we are, understanding the goal and working towards the goal.
Okay, thank you. Madan Mohan Krishna Lila Das Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Fallible means whenever someone in ignorance or in the clutches of Maya, he takes birth in this place, like birth, old age, disease, like this. When once elevated to Krishna consciousness or knowledge, internal bliss, so he is liberated. He never fall into this illusion and become infallible, which is known as Akshara.
Okay, thank you. Kirti Mataji, what do you have to say?
They covered it all, Mataji. So basically, we have this contamination by the three modes of material energy, and like Nikhil Prabhu and even Rupa Mataji said, we are we keep taking repeated birth and death. So we are supposed to, we are called fallible, and infallible is because they're on a different platform where they are already liberated. So in the transcendental plane, they cannot fall down, Mataji. That's my understanding.
Okay, thank you. Ambika Mataji.
Mataji, in the material world, we are always conditioned by the three modes of material nature. And so and the body is also undergoing the six changes. So we are fallible or kshara. And in the spiritual world, we are in oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is, we are in the transcendental plane with the Lord. So we are infallible or akshara.
Very nice. Okay, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Everyone said very well. So fallible, infallible depends on what kind of energy we are situating ourselves in Krishna's domain. If we are situating ourselves in the external energy, which is governed by three modes of material nature, it makes us fallible. And if we are situating ourselves in the internal energy, which is governed by Krishna's Yogamaya, then we are infallible. Okay, it depends if Krishna is in the center. Am I going away from Krishna? That's called fallible. Or am I going towards Krishna? That's called infallible. Okay, so in the material world, every living entity is fallible. Everybody. No matter whatever we are doing, we all are fallible. Like that, we cannot actually like differentiate that, okay, somebody is advanced or somebody is not advanced, because Krishna has given one word that every entity is fallible. Or forget about comparing oneself with others. Even if we compare our own journey in Krishna consciousness, and what was I 3 years ago, what was I 5 years ago, what was I 15 years ago, what was I 20 years ago, and if we see the growth, we still cannot be like, okay, I have done enough, because Krishna has given this word, every entity is fallible. And we can add one more line at all times. As long as we are in this material world, in the material body, it's there. And Prabhupada often gives example of the Titanic ship. Like Titanic, like he gives example of Titanic ship. The Titanic was made in a very sturdy manner and had a lot of, like, at the time, all the amenities, safety features, and had most important people of the country voyaging in it. But what happened on its first voyage? Nobody thought that it will fall down. But on its very first voyage, it sank and almost everyone died or lost or got debilitated. Like that, we can say, okay, I am in a very nice boat of Krishna consciousness. I have very good support. I am chanting very well. Like I am sitting in Gita Nagari right now. So I'm sitting in Gita Nagari. That's still fallible. See, he also gives example of Krishna consciousness as walking on the, what does he say? Walking on the, who will complete my sentence? What does Prabhupada say? Walking on the?
Is it edge of the knife, Mataji?
Yeah, this is walking on the razor's edge. So if we're walking on a razor's edge, can we relax? You know, in America, when sometimes I'm driving, it may be a weird thought, but it comes like sometimes the roads are very lonely. You don't get to see those kind of roads in India. Hardly. At least wherever I go. I'm not saying all over India, but at least wherever. Like it's very, very lonely. So, okay, there's nobody. You're just driving alone in that road. But the thought comes that can you still, unwind and just relax because there is nobody? No, because some accident can happen anytime, right? Like that, Krishna consciousness, we can never say that, okay, I've done enough. Actually, if we say that, then it's a fall down in itself. But in spiritual world, every entity is called infallible because they are situated in the Yogamaya potency and they're going towards Krishna. So depends on this energy is taking me away from Krishna or towards Krishna. So besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Lord himself, who has entered into these worlds and is maintaining them. Okay. Now, there's a punchline in this statement. Krishna is saying, fallible, infallible. But whether one is fallible or whether one is infallible, both are maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They both are dependent on Krishna. And Krishna is maintaining both. But what is his position? He will clarify it in the next verse. So Krishna is maintaining both, whether the entity is fallible or infallible. And he is greatest, but what is his position? This is his position. Yasmat ksharam atito aham aksharad apichottamaha. Ato asmi loke vedecha pratitaha purushottamaha. Because I'm transcendental beyond both fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. So he's beyond fallible and infallible. Okay, we as jivas come in the category of fallible, infallible, but Krishna as God does not. He maintains his position as God. So he's transcendental. He's saying it. I'm transcendental beyond both fallible and infallible. So we cannot say, okay, Krishna is the living entities in the spiritual world are infallible because they are internal potency. So Krishna is also like them. No, and Krishna is beyond even that. Right? So difficult now to understand who Krishna is then. The more you go towards Krishna, the more you figure out that, oh, I know so less of him. And he's saying he is the greatest. He is the greatest because he is maintaining all of them. And he is celebrated. Now, how is he celebrated in both the worlds? Because in this world, we are saying that we are going away from Krishna. So how are we celebrating Krishna?
In this world?
He's saying, I'm celebrated both in the world and the Vedas as a supreme person. So he said, what I'm interpreting it as that he celebrated both in the material world and spiritual world. So my question is, in the material world, most of our activities are taking us away from Krishna. So how are we celebrating Krishna? It's very obvious how Krishna is celebrated in the spiritual world, right? And now, but in the material world, how is he saying that he's celebrated? He himself only answered his question. You tell me, what is your understanding?
We engage ourselves in the full devotional service of Krishna.
Okay, so you get the chance and then we do that. That's one way. Very nice. Okay, what else?
We always think of him, Yat Karoshi, Yat Jasnasi, Yat Josi Tadasiyat. Whatever you do,
Are we
whatever you
always
perform.
thinking? Yeah, that's the aim. Yeah, that's the aim. Okay, very nice. Very nice. You see, the thing is that I want to broaden our vision, because by reading Bhagavatam, somehow I'm getting this realization nowadays that it's not just about me and my devotional service. And we have to broaden our vision. So we are reading this description of Jambudweep Island, right, in 5th canto, 19th chapter. And we are reading that how the living entities in different islands are celebrating Krishna. Right? In Bharatvarsh, we read about Nar Narayan, incarnation of Krishna, and how he brought austerity. And then we read about, I forgot the island, but Hanuman is reciting prayers to Lord Ram. Right? And he's reciting prayers to Lord Ram with the singers of Gandharva Lok are singing glories of Lord Ram. So we have to expand our vision just from my own practical practice. There's so many. He celebrated all over the material world. When all these entities who are celebrating Krishna, like Gandharva Lok or entities in Bharatvarsh or this Varsha or that Varsha, are fallible, but they are still singing glories of Krishna. There was this talk, So, I think 3-4 years ago, Urmila Mataji, Prabhupada's disciple, she came to Gita Nagari and she was saying that Prabhupada talks that the origin of the universe is from sound, right? Brahma heard the sound, right? From sound. She said it automatically means that every element of this particular creation has sound. And then said that we actually study or waste our time in studying these quantum mechanics or quantum physics. And what are they doing? They're studying the movement of the atom. And when they're studying the movement of the atom, they're studying that what is it that's making the atom move? It's the sound. And we actually, some of them, it's not been published, but some of them, when they actually go towards the core of what that sound vibration is like, the sound vibration that they get is Om, which is celebration of Krishna. Like you, Ma, Chaitanya Chaitamrita, it is very elaborately explained that represents Krishna, U represents Radharani, M represents living entities. But like that, if we want to find how Krishna is celebrated, then we can find out that he is celebrated in both the worlds. But what we do is we try to look at, I have a tendency to look at my own little practice of Krishna consciousness, expand it. But remember, in this verse, the zest is that Krishna is beyond both fallible and infallible. That is why he's able to maintain. So these are the 3 verses which are talking about 3 shloki Bhagavad Gita. 16, Krishna says 2 kinds of living entity, fallible and infallible. And then he says that he is the maintainer. Supreme Soul is the master of both, greatest personality, enters 3 worlds, maintains them. And then he says, but I am separate. I am celebrated. So everyone is supposed to worship me. So Sambandha Gyan, Abhiday Gyan, Prayojan Gyan. This is mostly Sambandha Gyan. Some commentators say this is mostly Sambandha Gyan, 16, 17, 18. 19 is Prayojan, Abhiday Gyan, and 20 is Prayojan Gyan, the verses. But if we really look at it, Sambandha Gyan is that one establishes the relationship of a living entity to Krishna. So it's in relation to Krishna. If I'm going away from Krishna, I'm fallible. If I'm going towards Krishna, I'm infallible. But in anyhow, I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Then Abhiday Gyan is the process. So Krishna is maintaining all the living entities so that we can understand him. And then Prayojan Gyan is what is the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is that I'm supposed to serve Krishna. Krishna needs to be celebrated. That's one way of understanding. But my Bhakti Shastri, they said that 16, 17, 18 is mostly Sambandha Gyan, which I'll show you at the end. Okay, this is called Sri Shloki Bhagavad Gita. So all the living entities in the material world or spiritual world are celebrating Krishna. And celebration means happy. You're not going to celebrate when you're not happy. Right? When the demigods have problems, they go to Brahma, and Brahma meditates on Garbhodaksha ocean and Mahavishnu, and then he gets the knowledge. Or Lord Shiva is talking about Krishna is Rudra Gita, right? In Bhagavatam, Rudra Gita. And then there's Uddhava Gita, and then we have Bhagavad Gita. There's so many kinds of Gitas are there. So he's celebrating Krishna and worshipping and sitting in meditation, as we learn from Bhagavatam, on Sankarshan feature of Krishna. Yo mam evam asamuddho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service of Sana Bharat. So this is like Abhidheya Gyan, that after we know I am part and parcel of Krishna, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to engage myself in devotional service. So bhajati, Prabhupada writes in this verse that bhajati word or worshipping me is used in many contexts throughout Bhagavad Gita. He says that it is used in relation with Supreme Personality of Godhead. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in devotional service to Lord, is understood that they have studied all the Vedic knowledge. Otherwise, they won't do their action. It's understood. And in Vaishnava Parampara, when one is engaged in devotional service to Krishna, it is said that there is no need for any other spiritual process. We don't need to do like Kriya Mudra Yoga, or we don't need to do like Karma Yoga. And just by engaging in devotional service to Krishna, we are doing everything. And that is taught in the Vaishnava Parampara. And then the fourth point is that the person who is worshipping Krishna in devotional service has already come to the end point because he's engaged after concluding everything. For example, if somebody goes to a course, a college for 4 years, 5 years, what is the end point of the course? Sit at home and just put it out there that I did this, or what is the end point?
To apply that knowledge and earn a livelihood.
Yeah, so to apply that knowledge in our life, right? Then only it makes sense to do what we did. So if somebody is applying that knowledge, it automatically means that they have gotten the training, they have studied it, right? So like that, if somebody is already engaged in devotional service of Krishna, it automatically means that they have studied. They have studied all the Vedas and they have concluded that this is the end result of Vedas. So I'm going to do this. Okay, so these are the four things that Prabhupada writes in the purport about bhajati, that it is used in relation with Supreme Personality of Godhead. If the person is engaged in Krishna consciousness in full devotional service, understand it automatically that they have understood all Vedic knowledge, all of them. And in Vaishnava Parampara, when one is engaged in the devotional service to Krishna, it is discouraged to go through any other spiritual process, not needed, depending on if one has firmly understood. And then if somebody has understood and engaged in devotional service to Krishna, then they have already come to the end point. There is nothing further remains. There is no quest that's remaining. This is the final verdict and you just go back. So all the preliminary processes of understanding are ended. Okay. So whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything. Everything without doubt. And he therefore engages himself in devotional service or Sana Bharat. Understood? This is the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. So this is like a Shrutifal. This is Prayojan. What is the end result of a relationship? The end result of a relationship is that we become wise, our endeavors will know perfection because we are engaged in Krishna consciousness. And this is the most confidential. Remember, we discussed confidential, more confidential, and most confidential, Guhya, Guhyatamam, and Guhyataran. So this Krishna explains in 18th chapter also. What is the confidential part of the Vedas?
I'm the soul, not the body.
Very nice. So what is more confidential?
I'm part and parcel of Krishna.
It was the most confidential.
I'm eternal servitor of Krishna.
So yes, I'm supposed to serve. So this particular chapter, Yoga of the Supreme Person, is actually telling us that if someone is engaged in that, this most confidential part is already achieved. Okay, Prabhupada talks about, I'll go through the summary and then talk about a few minutes. Then I'm going to go for Bhagavatam class, okay? Knowledge, in verse 20, knowledge explained in this chapter is the essence of the Vedanta and the most confidential part or substance of the Vedas. As Nikhil Prabhu said, most confidential is that I'm supposed to be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So what is the result of understanding? One will become wise and doers will know perfection. So healthy, wealthy, and wise. See, we can modify all the idioms of the world by putting Krishna in it. How do we become healthy, wealthy, and wise? By understanding the most confidential part of the Vedas. And how do we understand most confidential part of the Vedas? Come, we'll teach you. And then we can engage in devotional service under the supervision of the Acharyas. This, I told this story about Shruti Dharma Prabhu. Did I say that? Let me finish this and I'll tell the story. So what is the qualification to understand Purushottam Yoga? What is the qualification needed? Sinlessness. Anagha word is used in the verse. Okay, so that means that if we are trying to become Krishna conscious, we cannot be doing sinful activity simultaneously. It's like putting water on the fire. We put a fire out and then we put water on it. That is why regulatory principles and a discipline of 16 round minimum is needed, because it keeps us in that platform of sinlessness. And of course, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that it removes the desire to commit the sin. That we are not desiring anymore. But this needed. It's needed. The 4 regulatory principles are needed. And the more we advance, we had very nice class on that one time. The more we advance, we understand that the 4 regulatory principles are alive, because in Krishna consciousness, everything is alive. So the principles itself help the practitioner to follow them. So it's a dual relationship. Like, you know how in Damodar Leela we read that how Damodar is, we were reading the other day in the class that Damodar, what is he doing? He's gone under the tree, and the mortar was vertical, है ना? So seeing Krishna's effort and Krishna's desire, it automatically becomes horizontal. Krishna doesn't make it horizontal, it becomes horizontal. And then Krishna realizes that he's not putting in so much of an effort anymore to pull the ropes. Why? Because the ropes are understanding Krishna's effort, Krishna's intention, so they are cooperating. So basically, when we go further and further and further in Krishna consciousness, initially we follow the 4 regular principles, but eventually the 4 regular principles also make sure that we are doing okay. Okay, so it's like a relationship between the two. It's there in Bhagavatam, and we talk about it a lot in our classes, that it's everything is alive. It's not dead anymore. So sinlessness is not a very big problem if we are serious or enthusiastic. So the story was, I heard from Srimad Venkateswara Maharaj only. So how one is, how one can come to Krishna consciousness is like, there was this boy who wanted to join in manner the movement. Okay, so he came with his parents. And Shruti Dharma Prabhu was the president. And Shruti Dharma Prabhu told Maharaj that, come with me, because in future you will be meeting with this kind of families. And he said, we read in the scriptures that, as we are reading in Bhagavad Gita, that the biggest block to go to Krishna is Mahapap. Hai na? But actually on the ground, we realize that the biggest block in joining Krishna consciousness is Ma-Bap. So the parents came and they were sitting with the Sridhar Prabhu, and this boy was like, I want to join, and the parents were obviously not so much in favor. And he went on and on. He heard the boy. He went on and on saying that I want to join, I want to join, I want to do this. And then Sridhar Prabhu Maharaj thought, Swami Bhagavan Keshav Maharaj thought that Shuddha Mahaprabhu is going to convince the parents, right? That let him join like this. But what he did instead is that he told the boy, get up, get out of the room, leave the room, get up. So the boy, this blabbering, he leaves the room. And then Shrutidhar Mahaprabhu turns towards the parents and says, what to do? This boy has gone mad. But his matti nahi. There is no akal. This boy has gone completely mad. He can do anything. He has become dangerous. He's clearly not thinking straight. And now the parents are like, yeah, they feel very heard and understood. Yeah, this is correct. He's completely gone mad. Says, it is not safe for him anymore. Sridhar Mahaprabhu says, yeah. Parents are saying, yeah. Says, so you better give this boy to us. We will take care of him. Because if you leave him, on his own, then he can do anything and he will be very dangerous. So you better give this boy to us for some time and we'll take care of him. We will make him less mad. But then he said, you don't have to be mad to join the movement, but it helps. See, that is the most confidential part. And so somebody who is so advanced gets this knowledge from Krishna, how to bring others. If that's me, I'll be like counter-arguing and arguing with the parents and trying to give evidence from the scriptures and doing this or that, but nothing is going to work like this, right? So Prabhupada said that weakness of the heart. When we try to go to Krishna, we don't go because there's weakness in the heart. And he talks about the first weakness is to desire it, to lord it over the material nature. And the second weakness is that I want to actually accumulate more and more in the material nature. I want to build a life. First is to lord it over, and then next is to maintain it in a very lavish manner. And that's weakness of the heart. Next time when we meet, I will tell you about Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada, where he categorizes the weaknesses in 4 major headings. And one of the headings is weakness of the heart. Okay, understand what did we study today? Sorry, that how Krishna is maintaining our gross body, subtle body, spiritual body. What is 3 Shloki Bhagavad Gita, 16, 17, 18, and 19 is Abhidaya or the process, and 28 is the Prayojan or the end result, that our endeavor no perfection and we become wise in Krishna consciousness. This is one of the very good chapters, but small chapter, but very in-depth chapter. Any questions, reflections, realizations, corrections, complaints?
Sorry,
You can go
Mataji, just one.
Mm.
You're saying in the shloka, the Krishna was giving us the understanding to understand the gross body, subtle body, and it missed one more part.
Spiritual body.
Spiritual body.
Vedanta Krit Veda Vita. He's giving Vedas, no? Spiritual body.
Spiritual body. And this Urmila Mataji that you were talking about, if I recall correctly, she's the same who gave the class on Manasiksha as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You attended the class? She came to Kannada?
Yes, we did a course. When she was we were in Middle East, he came to Oman and we did the course, Manasiksha.
Very nice. Yeah.
Okay.
She gave me all her material of Bhakti Shastri. I have all of her material. All right. So, see, in my Bhakti Shastri, are we offline, Mataji?
No, Mataji, your host, Mataji.
Oh.